So today we're going to talk about Sentinels versus Furia because Sentinels won! Yeah, I know. But then they also got eliminated from playoffs because EG lost. Look, don't blame me, okay? I'm just telling you what happened, and that did happen. But we're not going to take a look at Bind, we're going to take a look at Split, because whilst Bind was a crazy game that went on forever and it won ultimately the match, Split I think was probably Sentinels' maybe best performance in quite some time. And so we're going to start here with round number 3, which is the bonus round for Furia, so they don't have great guns, but I think it's a really good example of showing what Sentinels were doing in this on this map, in particular on their attacking side. And so what we'll see here from Sentinels is they're going to play very, very slow, and they're going to do this 3-man A main default a lot, right? So there's basically 2 main ways of defaulting on Split. Either you go for a mid default, normally where, 3 people will kind of attack mid and try and take this space here, or you go for a 3-man A main default like this, where, we've got Zekken in this case is just, kind of watching mid and for a push there. Marv's just watching for this kind of push over here. And you've got the 3 players here over towards A who are going to be tasked with trying to take, basically, if they can, the space up and towards where the Viper wall is before then, deciding on what to do. Because once you've got the space kind of all the way up to the end of the Viper wall just here, once you've got all this, you can then threaten a lot of things, right? You can then threaten to go through B quickly through vents potentially, or pinch on anyone actually in vents through mid and coming through this way, right? Or you can very quickly go for an A site hit instead if you want to. And so it gives you a lot of options once you've taken this space on this map. And that's what we'll see here. But the first thing is Sentinels played very slow. Right, so we're just going to see at the start here, we've got a snake bite to stop any early aggression, and then just the Viper wall is essentially just going to keep going up and down, as they kind of slowly work their way through the map, right? And this happened a lot. They will use one flash here in just a second, just sending it out just here right now, but this is commonly what they were doing, and then they use the Viper wall to come across just here as well. And they get across up in towards kind of the ramp area and towards a heaven. And if we pause with about 110 left on the clock, so we're 30 seconds into the round, this was quite common for Sentinels, right? It might not be exactly 30 seconds, but sometimes probably between 30 and 50 seconds, the map was commonly looking something like this, where Sentinels have managed to walk their way up in towards a ramp. Zekken is now starting to make progress towards mid and maybe take some space there. Marv is on his way to kind of help him at this point, having watched towards B main and seen no aggression over towards this. This was like a common setup at this kind of point in a round for Sentinels. And what we'll see is that they do come and take towards a heaven here. Now, MW, it looks like he does just catch a little glimpse of Tenz there. Their Viper wall goes up. Tenz walks back, and Zekken is able to walk up in towards vents just here as well. And this was a common thing, right, where they've smoked off this side of heaven. And again, this was something that they commonly did, right, because what they want to do is if they can take all of this space here, right, from their Viper wall across to like this, that means that they can pivot between this, right? That means that they can very quickly pivot from one side to the other, and they're always knocking on the door of this A site to do a hit at any moment's notice, and you'll see how that comes into this round later on. So what's about to happen is, I'm not sure if the walls go down or what, or if Tenz just finds a spam kill through the walls. We can't quite tell. Here, a second later, this wall is up. So maybe it was just a spam kill. I don't know. We'd have to ask Tenz. But now the decision comes in very, very quickly. And I think that this was a good sign for Sentinels as well. As soon as Tenz gets that kill, look at this, right? Look at how quick everyone's coming over here. And I don't know who made this call, but the spike is already on its way to B. The call is very clear that this was made pretty much as soon as Tenz got that kill. And we'll see how, like, just a beautiful round this is from Sentinels on the whole. They send a sky flash through their Viper wall just there. And Marv is about to put a smoke down as well. And this smoke, I think, is pretty crucial also because what that means is this smoke denies this Viper knowing if they're in heaven or not, right? If this Viper could actually, just take a quick peek into heaven and see, well, actually, there's no one on that side of the Viper wall, maybe they rotate across, right? But because of this smoke, they don't know Furia. And so that's going to lock these 3 guys in place the whole time. And even when a Skydog comes out, and even when, some util starts to come this way, these guys aren't going to move. And the reason these guys aren't going to move is because that could all easily be a ruse, right? And really the hit is about to come at any second at this point because Furia don't have any of this control. And so a hit is right on, you're always at alert level 10. Right, because a hit could be coming at any moment. But as we know, Sentinels are actually coming back towards B and are pivoting back. And you'll see the Skydog is going to come up here and kind of you know, find their way in. Mazin shoots the dog. A nade is going to come in. A molly's going to come in. And now they're going to come in onto the site. The dash, the blastbacks are going to come across here as well, right? And it's just going to clear this space. Marv's going to clear out B main here as well. And we end up in a situation where everything has gone really, really well for Sentinels. And again, these guys didn't move really until Sentinels were actually coming in onto the site. And they even put up their Viper Orb just in here as well. And we'll see even in the post-plant, they get into some nice positions where clearly, you know, they were on it and they were ready to fight as a team and whatnot. Pancada gets himself back into a really nice position just here in mid, obviously for anyone coming through vents. And you see Sentinels here, right? 3 people are ready to fight this together, right? We're fighting as a team. We're ready to do it. Furia ultimately in this round would basically, you know, just give up essentially and just try and die to the spike or die at the very end. So I'm not going to make you sit and wait through all of that, but you just see that this was a very nice considered round by Sentinels where things were decisive and everyone was in the right place and all the utility was in the right place as well. But of course, not every round is going to be perfect, and this was an example here in round number 6 where that wasn't the case. Sentinels are going to start off with the exact same stuff. These 3 are going to be over here, and this round is even slower than the one prior. Okay, you know, they literally do nothing because there's an Astra Star here from Furia. They even send out a flash here, Furia, but their own smoke, you know, means that these guys, yeah, are just behind it, and they're just chilling here, Sentinels. You know, they're just chilling, and essentially, you know, nothing happens for a large part of, you know, the first 30 seconds in this round. Basically, nothing happens, right? They send out a flash, and they've put a snake bite on the ground where they did at the start of the last one. Again, the Viper stuff goes up, but at this point, again, not really much has happened. Tenz tries to little get across there, but he can't quite without taking a bit of damage. But again, the same thing, right? We got Marv and Zekken here walking up in towards mid. The dog is going to come out from Furia here to try and gain that information. And yeah, they do see them. And DG is going to get that first kill just there. But whilst that was going on, Zekken has managed to find this kill in mid. And so again, extremely decisive from Sentinels here, right? As soon as they got this kill in mid, again, it was go. We are going here, right? We know that, hey, the dog's seen multiple people over here. You know, this guy from Vents has probably rotated. And this is something about the Furia comp, a very popular comp. Sentinels are running it as well. In Americas, on the defense side, I think it can be a bit predictable, right? You often will get an Astra anchoring towards B. You often will find the Rays in heaven, the Vipers in vents, the Jet in the sky are playing towards A. Like, this is very, very common stuff. Pretty much every team who runs this comp does this exact same thing. And so you'll know probably the reactions of, hey, the Sky Dogs saw 3 people here. Yeah, this Viper's going to maybe, you know, start cheating over towards A a bit. Hey, we got this kill on B. That means that this Astra is probably alone on B. Let's try and go fast and capitalize on that. And so, again, straight away, the spike's on its way. You see Marv and Zekken here running in. They get a trade with the Razor just there. 3v3. Spike is on its way. The Seekers come out from Furia here as well. And obviously, it's kind of a bit of a mad dash to see who can actually get there first because the Spike is all the way over here actually in spawn at this point. Now, we're going to see a pretty big whiff here from QCK. He should definitely win that fight. But hey, good for Sentinels, right? And so we end up in a 3v2, but there's still danger in this round, right? The Spike still has to cross here across B main, and, you know, that's still got danger. And Mazin has potentially a chance there if he kills Sassy to, you know, kind of end the round. But Sassy's going to get the Spike down, but DG is right here as well, and he's got Sassy trapped. Sassy can't get out of this position, really, and he dies to the op just there. Whilst that's going on, Mazin is going to flash out in mid, and he's going to take a duel versus Pancada, and he's going to win that duel as well. And so you see a blind Pancada there. So we end up with Zekken all alone in a 1v2.
Make it 1. Zekken, last one standing. Beautiful movement. Placement there to isolate the 5-7. Bullets! No way! 4 in a row, the Red Bull clutch. You have got to be joking.
But now let's come to round 11 to see how Sentinels use some slight variations as well to their advantage. Because this time, they've gone with a full 5-stack towards A, right? So obviously the point of this round is, yeah, we're pretty much going to hit the A site, be it from heaven, be it from just straight A main. At some point in this round, we're just hitting this A site. Probably. And obviously for Furia, it's difficult to know behind this Viper wall because essentially Sentinels can make it look the same, right? They can make it so that just the Sky, the Jet, and the Viper are the ones who are kind of making noise and showing their utility. And, you know, as long as the Rays and the Astra obviously could be anywhere, you know, you're not going to know that that's not just their normal default and they're not just going to try and pivot B at some point. So it's difficult for these players to call for rotates or things like that, as we will see. So Sentinels this time, they go with a bit more pace. You see the same snakebite is coming out. Tenz actually tries to run across, but he does get hit there. So they're trying to go at a bit of a different pace here, our Sentinels. They go for the heal, but now noticing that a spam is coming across, Sentinels go, oh, well, you probably think that this is only, 3 of us here. Well, actually, it's 5 of us. So why don't we just all kind of get on this angle and just come and spam you when the wall drops, right? And that's exactly what happens here. You see that Sentinels basically form a death squad just here. The wall's going to drop, and they are just about to obliterate QCK, who's on towards the back side there. You see it's just an absolute firing squad, and Zekken gets the kill. And then as soon as Zekken gets that kill, has ult, go button gets hit, and before you know it, this round is over. And you see, the pace change here as well completely got Furia off guard, right? They were not ready for this in the slightest. You see these two players are still walking in B main, probably still expecting it to be a slow round, hoping maybe to pick off Marv here out towards B. The round's over. The round is already over, and Sentinels just dominated this game because their initial concept was so strong, and then, they can do these variations off it, and Furia would just try and save from here on out. And so finally we come to round number 12, and by this point Furia, I think, were just scratching their head and going, look, I don't know how we deal with this A site. So what they decided to do is bring over an extra player, right, and say, okay, we're not going to let you take this A control. We're actually going to come and get you, and we're going to be aggressive and maybe try and even fight this. And so of course, what did Sentinels do in this last round? They went for a mid default, and they would end up, as soon as they see this pressure, going for a quick B split instead, and these guys just ended up on the complete wrong side of the map, and it just all was working for Sentinels, right? So you see they're going for this fast mid default instead this time. You got Tenz and Zekken out here towards mid. Tenz jumping past the Viper Orb straight away with his knives. The dog is going to come out here from Furia, right, and chase, and Pancada perhaps feels that aggression, feels something a bit different. But Sentinels go, okay, you're pushing A, watch this. We're pushing B instead. And instantly, because QCK and Khalil here are kind of, left on a bit of an island here, they don't have enough players to kind of hold this down. They have to just let it up. And so Sentinels manage to, basically take the site for free. And they're going to go with a Viper's Pit as well. The Seekers come out from Furia. I think that this is to, kind of check that, there was no, little lurks in here or anything that could potentially cause them problems. But with all 3 Seekers coming towards the site, it was just going to end in a big old brawl.
And this now becomes very difficult. What's the call from Furia? How do you retake this one?
The Seekers have been used very early, and MW is using them to get inside of the pit, even before the rest of his team are anywhere near.
Post the new box. Post plant positions.
Dodge the flash.
Held. It's a double flank now for B main. That's going to be the important fight to be taken here. Flash marved. Does he win the fight? Yes, he does. Bull at his feet. A re-swing, but the weapon's just not good for it. Senna winning all the gun duels. All up to Mazine. Spraying him down. It's a hopeful venture. But time ticking short. Seeker in his face, near-sided. Just got to give it up. You're losing this round. It's a 9-3.